Hello, it's Dennis, and I am here with Suzanne Greathouse, candidate for Kenmore City Council Position 1, and we're going to just chat a little bit about what she sees as the vision for her for the council and for kind of what she brings to the table for that candidacy. So I guess maybe the place to start, Suzanne, is where did this start? How did you arrive at deciding that this was a direction you needed to go?
Well, you know, I was a substitute teacher and a student teacher here in North Shore School District many years ago. And when I was a substitute, once a month I would get together with some of the other teachers, and we would talk about our dreams of getting regular jobs in the district and buying a house and settling down. But life happens, and the next thing you know, I was a co-owner of a rundown motel in Anacortes. And then a few years later, I found myself with two young daughters renting space in a friend's basement.
Wow.
So it was a long climb back up from there.
That's a difficult journey.
Eventually, I was invited to join AT&T, and I spent 18 years there doing kind of a variety of things, from disaster recovery to project management, program management, security, and ending up as an IT director. So that was a very good career. My daughters were off to college, and then my oldest daughter was diagnosed with stage 4 oral cancer. We went through the treatment, and unfortunately she didn't make it. She lost her fight 3 years ago.
So sorry.
As a result of that, I went back to work and did a lot of soul searching and decided that my life needed to head in a different direction. I felt the need to give back to the community, which is something my daughter did all the time in her daily life. So to honor her and to honor all my friends and members of the community who supported me during that difficult time, I resigned from AT&T and then started getting involved with the city.
Oh.
So.
And where did you find that was kind of the natural place for you to go with the city?
Well, I ran for city council a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And that gave me a little bit of a taste of what it was like. I started getting involved with going to council meetings and the Chamber of Commerce, the Kenmore Business Incubator, and some of the other groups in town. And then continued, even though I wasn't chosen during that election, to stay involved with the community. I'm a volunteer at Mary's Place. I'm on the board of the North Shore Senior Center, also on the board of the Kenmore Heritage Society. I'm a planning commissioner, and I was an interim fire commissioner. So kind of jumped in with both feet.
Wow, I guess. That's great. So I know actually we've spoken in the past a little bit about your involvement with the Senior Center. And there are some things upcoming as far as actually it has to do with ballot issues that are going to concern the Senior Center. What can you tell me about that?
Right. So the Senior Center buildings were funded about 30 years ago by an organization called the North Shore Parks and Recreation Service Area. And it was created specifically to build those Senior Center buildings. Unfortunately, they didn't put aside a lot of money for maintenance. And now 30 years later, we've got frogs in the bathroom because we've got standing water under the foundation. We've got broken HVAC. We've got problems with our fire system and roofs and windows and all kinds of things. So we had an assessment done on the building, and they came back with $4.7 million as the cost.
Wow.
Right, to make all of those repairs. And so the NPRSA, which is the entity the Senior Center actually leases from, decided to take that out to the community and put it on the ballot. So we're encouraging everybody to vote yes on that, to make the repairs to the Senior Center.
Well, I think it's interesting that it's a beautiful facility. In fact, if you haven't been to the North Shore Senior Center, it is really a lovely building. And there's two buildings there, correct?
Right. So there's the senior center, and that's got a large auditorium. That's where the Chamber of Commerce meetings are held.
Right.
There are a lot of other programs. There's a dining room there. You can get a $5 pancake breakfast twice a month. And then on the other side, it's their health and wellness center. So that caters to people with Alzheimer's and dementia and other needs. There's a gym there. There's a beauty parlor.
Oh yeah.
Tootsie's Parlor.
Yeah.
And they also have a program for developmentally disabled folks, and the youngest being 6.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm. So the senior center is really available to folks who aren't seniors. So
very much a community center.
Right, it's very much a community center.
Yeah. Now the way that is, I guess there's a couple questions I have around that. The first one is, the senior center is located in Bothell.
Right.
And you're running for a position on the Kenmore City Council.
Mm-hmm.
How does that, I mean, a lot of people are going to say, it's located in Bothell, why should we be involved in this?
Right, so if folks have been to the Kenmore Senior Center, it's part of the North Shore Senior Center. We also have a location in Mill Creek, and we're working with the Peter Kirk Center in Kirkland.
Mm-hmm.
The Kenmore Senior Center is at Rhododendron Park, and it's a small facility.
Okay.
So they're not able to host as many programs as are available in Bothell.
Mm-hmm.
So they offer transportation from Kenmore to the Bothell location, so folks can do square dancing, and there's a really great Parkinson's program called Rock Steady Boxing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and a
That's
variety
awesome.
of other things they can do there.
Yeah. Now, to my understanding, there's not actually a separate ballot item for the senior center, though. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's the confusing part about it, is that it will say on the ballot the Proposition 1 for the North Shore Parks and Recreation Service area, and it won't mention anything on the ballots.
Okay.
You have to look in the voter's pamphlet, and then you'll see something about the senior center there, but it's a little bit confusing. So we're trying to educate people so when they see it on the ballot, they understand what it is.
Make sure that we're getting the word out on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So now coming back to your candidacy, what is it that you feel you bring to that? What skills and experience have you got that you feel can be brought to bear on the challenges of the council?
As a director at AT&T and even throughout my career there, I often had to work with different regional directors to consolidate what they were doing or determine best practices or get them all working together. So I have a lot of experience working with people to find consensus and implement new ways of doing things. I also know quite a lot about budgeting and forecasting and project management, so that will help a lot in terms of looking at where we're headed as a city and whether or not we can pay for what we want to be doing.
Yeah. What would you like folks to know about Suzanne Greathouse? What do you think they should know as far as who you are and how you operate in that space?
I think you just need to look at what I'm involved with in the city. So for instance, I volunteer now 2 days a week at Mary's Place. I just added a second day because they have a parenting circle on Thursdays, and I feel that's really important, and want to make sure that the staff is supported so that they can take care of kids during the time that parenting circle is going on so the parents can focus. I also help with employment and housing there, so I understand a lot about the challenges with affordable housing and also with homelessness. With the senior center there, again, I'm very much involved with the challenges that face seniors today and understand what those are, so I bring that as well. I grew up in a family that was very focused on community and helping others. My mother was a librarian, and she used to frequently bring folks home from the library who were there trying to stay out of the rain because they didn't have a warm place to go or food to eat. So we have a it's kind of in our blood, the service gene or something.
That's
So
wonderful. Yeah. What do you see as kind of some of the key issues that are facing Kenmore that you'd like to address, or you'd like to see the council address?
affordable housing is a big one right now, and they are looking at that. I'm on the planning commission, and we're looking at accessory dwelling units, so what people think of as mother-in-law units and so forth as options for affordable housing. We also looked at the mobile homes in the area and made some decisions, or actually the council made decisions related to ensuring that those folks were safeguarded in terms of their housing. Also, another thing that people may not know is that senior citizens can get tax exemptions related to property tax.
Right.
So that affordable housing, also transportation and traffic. When I've been out doorbelling, those are both big issues.
There's a theme there.
Right. So
Yeah.
a lot of the new development has caused challenges with parking or traffic through neighborhoods from
Right.
the different freeways and so forth. So that's something that I'll be looking at as well. Mass transit's something else that's coming to our area, and that's something we need to pay attention to.
That's actually maybe an interesting segue to one of the topics that seems to be kind of bubbling to the surface here lately regarding local businesses like the Yakima Fruit Market. Do you see any obvious paths to resolving situations like that? Is there an obvious solution, or any thoughts around that?
A number of people have signed a petition related to the Yakima fruit stand. I heard that has been effective. I'm not really sure whether that is or not. I think citizens reaching out and getting involved with decisions in government is positive. Any way you look at it.
Having a voice is pretty key.
Right. In terms of what the state is doing with transportation, there's a minimal amount that we are able to do.
Right.
With regard to that.
I guess that is kind of in the purview of the folks at Metro, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's something that I often try to help folks in the community understand when they complain about bus service out to the neighborhoods, is that when I ran before, that was something I heard quite a lot, and so I followed up on that, and what I was told is that they have to have a certain number of riders to be able to put the routes right out in the neighborhood, and we don't have that. So there are often circumstances that we don't fully understand related to what's going on.
Yeah. Any other issues of significance that kind of are in your view need to be out here being discussed?
I'm also really interested in opening up the waterways, and in particular Log Boom Park. We've had a lot of requests for a sandy beach there and better access. So the city is looking at a pathway from Squires Landing down to Log Boom Park. So another thing I heard when I was out doorbelling is that people moved here because of the parks, schools and the parks.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm a big supporter of both of those. I think that we need to keep the environment in mind when we're making decisions for Kenmore.
Right.
And continue to develop our parks.
Yeah. I mean, the outdoors is a large part of why many of us are here. Absolutely. Well, is there anything that you would like to share with folks? Is there any information or events or anything coming up that you would like to get out there to the greater community?
Sure. So we just had the Chili Fest at the Senior Center. It was sponsored by the Chamber, and I'm proud to say that Chef Pasha, who's from the Senior Center, that her Red Rock chili came in third in the People's Choice.
Yeah?
So
Excellent.
that was pretty exciting. So I know she wanted to be first, but she had been third last time, so she's actually second this year.
Oh, okay.
So the senior center is also really focused on the levee. With the Heritage Society, we've got a pop-up museum that will be at the hangar on the 20th.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have a Guess My Era contest. There'll be people wandering around in costumes. Folks can bring items to put with items provided by the museum. We'll have a demonstration of a smoothie bike, a bike that you pedal to make smoothies.
Really?
And we'll have some other other contests there. And then in November, we've got a Native American program that will be at City Hall. So I think those are the main ones that there's.
I understand there's an election coming up too. Is that
right. There's a candidate forum next week, so I'll be there as well.
okay. And what's the date and time on that?
Oh, it's
We'll get back to you on that.
right. It's like the Tuesday at 5:30.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. We'll plug that in.
Right.
Well, I really appreciate the time, Suzanne. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you.
And best of luck.
Thank you.
You bet. Again, Suzanne Greathouse, Kenmore City Council Position 1 candidate.